year. He went on to win the Ascot Stakes and the Queen Alexandra in the 1 week. Number 2 is Bulwark. Well, he's a good enough type of stayer. He was third to Sergeant Cecil in the Yorkshire Cup and also placed in the Henry II Stakes. 3 is Cherry Mix, the hope of Godolphin. Frankie Dettori rides, 3 times a Group 1 winner, but tested possibly over this trip. Number 4 is Finalmente. Takes a big step up in class. He's a winner of 4 of his 13 starts to date. Johnny Murtagh rides. Number 5 is Geordieland. You've seen earlier he's a bleeder, but Jamie Spencer in the saddle today, and he'll be produced very late. Number 6 is Le Miracle, or Le Miracle if you like. German bred. He's been doing most of his racing in France. 7 is Lord de Sud, another French runner over here. Jean-Claude Rouget is the trainer, and Christophe Lemaire in the saddle. The public favourite, Sergeant Cecil. They'll tear the place down if he wins. Jimmy Fortune in the saddle today, and he's on fire. 9 is Tungsten Strike. His limitations have been exposed a couple of times, but he comes here in good form. Number 10 is Yeats, a runaway winner last year of the Ascot Gold Cup. He went down to Melbourne. He ran in the Melbourne Cup there and finished 7th. Number 11 is The Last Drop, a colt by Galileo, a good type of stayer as well. Ran well in the St. Leger. Number 12 is Monterre, over from France, trained by Jonathan Pease and ridden by Olivier Pallier. This filly, this mare, is the winner of the Prix Royal Oak. 13 is Allegretto, a Galileo filly trained by Sir Michael Stout and a winner of the Queen Elizabeth, or should say the Henry II Stakes last time. And finally 14, Rising Cross, Ted Durkin is the rider.
This Yeats has touched 8 to 11, but he's 4 to 6. And there are 2 interesting points to it. There is support for Frankie Dettori here at 25 to 1 this morning, 20 to 1 into 14 to 1. Now, if you want to be on one against Yeats, Paddy Power will pay you money back if your horse finishes second to Yeats. And Ladbrokes are a third the odds each way, which is a really good concession here if you're looking to back one each way. Monterre seems to be very popular each way. 14s into 12s. That and Cherry Mix are attaching the each way money, and Allegretto also some shrewd money for that one. That's pretty solid at 14 to 1. In the northeast, I hear they're being waylaid with Geordieland bets, 14 to 1, particularly each way. That would be a terrible result up in the northeast. The Geordies have invested at 14s, but Yeats is attracting the big money. The serious players have taken the odds on. 8 to 11 has gone. It's now 4 to 6.
Last set, and they're racing in the Ascot Gold Cup. Way to a good start, with the exception of Rising Cross, a bit slow into stride there in the early stages. And one of the first away in the centre, Lord de Sud, the grey, there is right up vying for the early lead with The Last Drop. Monterre with the cheek pieces and the noseband, easy to spot there in the white jacket in the centre. Finalmente just drops in behind them in the early stages of the race. Yeats and Tungsten Strike are sitting in behind. Allegretto is there parked on the fence in about 4th position. Followed further back then by Le Miracle on the outside. Cherry Mix in centre field. They're followed next then by Badam, as all the time they're running up the home straight now and about to link up with the course proper. Well over 2 miles to travel. Lord de Sud shows the way from The Last Drop, the outside. Then in third is a Tungsten Strike. The white noseband there of Finalmente on the outside of Monterre, who's in a white jacket. Le Miracle, another noseband on the outside of Allegretto in the red, white and blue on the inner. 2 lengths further back then is Yeats, who's nicely placed. Well back in centre field then is Cherry Mix. They're followed by Badam and Sergeant Cecil. Bullwalkers out the back too. Rising Cross is second last, and ridden and weighted with, as planned, is Geordieland in last position. Heading up to the judge now. They've got a circuit to go, and Lord de Sud on the outside of Tungsten Strike. They match strides by 3 lengths now to in third place The Last Drop, followed a couple of lengths further back then on the outside by Finalmente, and then on the inner is Monterre. They're followed next by Le Miracle, who's on the outside of runners as they run downhill and about to go past the 1.5 mile gate. Allegretto is back there as well. Yeats in about 10th position at this stage on the inside of runners, going okay for Mick Kinane. They're followed back in the field behind Yeats by Bulwark and Cherry Mix, who's smothered up on the fence but not really settling. Also back there is Sergeant Cecil with Bulwark and Rising Cross, and Geordieland is last. all the time running downhill towards the mile and a quarter. Lord de Sood is the leader here from Tungsten Strike, and the last drop for Kieran McAvoy up in the box seat on the inside. Then in fourth is Finalmente, followed by Monterre and Le Miracle, and Allegretto the inside. A couple of lengths to Yeats, who's on the outside of runners now. They're followed next by, on the inner, Cherry Mix, and further back then Badam from Bulwark from Sergeant Cecil. And second last is Rising Cross, and last is Geordie Land, as they race now out of Swinley Bottom in the Ascot Gold Cup of 2007. And Lord de Sood the leader on the inside of Tungsten Strike. Then in third is the last drop, Finalmente in fourth. They're followed next by Monterre on the inside of Le Miracle. They're followed further back by Allegretto. Yeats is now creeping closer into eighth on the outer, the dark blue jacket. Then Cherry Mix on the inside from Badam as they start to climb uphill now. Sergeant Cecil starting to weave his way into the picture now, a long way off the pace though, and Geordie Land also grabbing hold of the bit. Rising Cross is being shuffled back as they leave the 5 peg behind them, and it's Lord de Sood on the inside from Tungsten Strike, and the last drop, the inner. Then in fourth is Finalmente. Yeats is getting all the time closer in the dark blue jacket the outside. Further back then Monterre, nowhere to go. Le Miracle, Badam around the outside from Cherry Mix, Allegretto, then Sergeant Cecil about 8 lengths off the pace as they swing the corner in the Ascot Gold Cup. It's going to be a sprint for home. Lord de Sood leads him into the home straight from Tungsten Strike, the last drop, Finalmente. Here's Yeats, produced on the outside by Mick Kinane, ranges up, grabs the lead in a couple of bounds, followed then by Le Miracle, Finalmente. Geordie Land being produced very late, running on well from Badam and Cherry Mix, but Yeats is 2 in front of the furlong. Now Geordie Land is putting in his final sprint. Yates in front by about a length and a half. He's wandering a little bit off a straight course. Kinane senses Geordie Land, rides him out and goes on to win his second Gold Cup. Yates, back-to-back winners of the Ascot Gold Cup, beats Geordie Land, Le Miracle and Finalmente, followed then by Monterre, a gap to Lord de Sood, then Allegretto, Badam, Cherry Mix, then Bulwark from Rising Cross. Further back in the field then, the last drop, Tungsten Strike, and poor old Sergeant Cecil has finished absolute last. Ascot Gold Cup. Last year for Kieran Fallon, this year for Mick Kinane. Geordie Land is second. Beautiful ride by Jamie Spencer. The horse not good enough. Third, Le Miracle. Fourth, Finalmente. Fifth, Monterre. And then in sixth in the Ascot Gold Cup, fair old space back to sixth. Whoa. The grey Lord de Sood, the early leader. Then in seventh, Badam. Eighth is Cherry Mix. Ninth is Allegretto. Then a gap still coming. We may as well wait for these. 10th is Bulwark. 11th, the last drop. There are only 14 of them. Let's see where 12 is Rising Cross. 13, Tungsten Strike. Now, poor old Sergeant Cecil. Let's just see how far behind the second last horse he was. Such a public favourite, and he seemed to move into the race so promisingly too and virtually pulled up. There he is, Sergeant.
Yates, 8-13 favourite, established himself as a real champion there, winning the Gold Cup, the Group 1 Ascot Gold Cup for the second successive year. Great run from Geordie Land, a really good performance for that. Finished second at 12-1. And Le Miracle, it really was a miracle for Dominique Burfer, a fantastic third place for them at 50-1, a really